800-709-4395, 800-709-4395. Let's be honest, wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
We should be like super energized now. Like we're an hour. We're extra on time now. I'm trying. Your blouse is very pretty. I love that.
I do
Thank
too.
you. I like yours. Green. You look fabulous this morning too.
Black. I should have worn a different color.
Why? You look perfect for radio. Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a 10 a.m. edition of JOCO Vibes here on JOCO Community Radio. It's still a good morning, even though we had internet challenges to deal with this morning. We survived them.
Thanks to Jason Bagley and Ron
Phillips. Yeah.
We appreciate your assistance.
And Spectrum coming back to life, I guess
Yeah.
you could say, right? So I'm Tiffany Carlen with Sarah Reeves, and we have a wonderful guest joining us this morning. We're going to get to her here in just a couple minutes and tell you all about Teresa and why she's here joining us. But we just wanted to start out with happy Election Day. And this was part of the reason why we wanted to go live this morning at 10, despite our challenges at 9 a.m. this morning, because it is Election Day and it's important to talk about this stuff. And we had a wonderful guest planned to be here, and we figured, well, we can go live at 10, so why not?
Yeah.
So why not?
We can do what we want.
So good morning, everybody. Teresa, would you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Certainly. I'm Teresa Ustanik, and I've worked in the healthcare industry and helping with chronic disease and diabetes self-management for over 10 plus years. I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for, I don't know how long, maybe 30 years, giving my age away. But I am here today because I was so enamored by meeting someone about 10 years ago. And I actually had a chance to meet him in person last year in an event called the Save a Leg, Save a Life Foundation Community Screening and Educational Event. And
which is coming up on December 3rd.
Yes, it's coming up on December 3rd. I wanted to go over a little bit later on that, but I want to talk about the founder when we get into detail more about it. But the Save a Leg, Save a Life Foundation is dedicated to help prevent amputations. And there's like 13 board members, and the founder, Dr. Desmond Bell, He's a podiatric surgeon. He has been helping people for several years, just like me, but on a different level. He has a huge passion for limb salvage and complications with the lower extremities and diabetes. And his mission, and the main mission for Save a Leg, Save a Life Foundation, is to reduce the number of lower extremity amputations and improve the quality of life for people and our fellow citizens who are afflicted and affected by these wounds and complications from diabetes. There's so many comorbidities from diabetes, and then also
Right.
peripheral arterial disease. And that is the key thing I wanted to explain also today. What is PAD, or peripheral arterial disease? It's basically a narrowing of the arteries. Normally, your arteries, it's easy for the blood to flow through because your blood's going from your heart into all the other parts of your body. And when it stops getting to where it needs to go, you're going to have some issues. And normally there's plaque buildup. And so the artery gets really, really small and starts constricting, and you have plaque that makes it more and more narrow as it gets more and more constricted and more plaque on it. And that is something that Dr. Bell has done, and I'm hoping that we can release some videos to show exactly what the extent of his dedication, because he and Frank are so into helping these people. But they have 13 board members across the nation that have come on board with them, and we invite people to become a member of the Save a Leg, Save a Life Foundation. And I wish I had some tools to show people, but I'm going to try to walk you through this just a little bit more. If you can imagine losing a limb because you didn't even know what was going on in your body. Well, what these screenings do that take place in the community, and we do have the one coming up on December 3rd. I'll go into it a little bit more in a moment. You are able to find something that's normally would go undiagnosed. There's so many people, they don't even know that they have this disease. And it's like a silent killer, but it could take a leg, and you don't want to do that.
And typically it's caused from diabetes, from side effects of diabetes.
There's risk factors, and one of them is diabetes and different effects of diabetes that can hurt you, with your blood sugar, and it starts thickening your arteries in there. But as far as other things like being over 50, I mean, it can affect men and women. It's there's no sacred people.
Right.
Nobody is immune to this. So you really have to watch it. But the risk factors normally come with smoking. So a lot of people that are smokers are people with diabetes. I don't like to call them diabetics. I think people with diabetes is much nicer, because so many people can get diabetes or be pre-diabetes and be on the verge of getting these narrowing arteries. Also, there's something that is so wonderful about this campaign, and I don't know if you guys noticed my little sock.
Yeah,
on me.
so you've got a blue ribbon on. If for
Mhm.
those who are listening on the radio and on the
Mhm.
app,
Mhm.
she's wearing a blue ribbon that has a white. One of them has a white sock, and this is the white sock campaign. You wear a single white sock on one foot and leg to bring attention to the lower extremity and the fact that some folks may not be able to afford diabetic socks to help prevent foot ulcers and other lower extremity issues such as edema, which all lead to this bigger problem of losing a leg or even a foot. And honestly, people don't even realize what it does to the balance or the walking capability of someone to lose a big toe.
Exactly.
And you cannot walk without a cane or without some sort of assistance in just losing your big toe. And people don't I mean, typically don't think about that.
That's your like number one balancer.
It is your number one balancer. So, so it's not just about the bigger extremities. It starts with the toes typically. And I used to be in diabetes care. I worked for AccuCheck,
Oh, that's wonderful.
and so I mean, this is what we did. It was all about prevention, testing yourself, knowing what your numbers are supposed to be, knowing what they can be with the right diet and exercise and or medication, depending on what you need. And so all of that leads to that. And sometimes people, you're totally right. They don't realize that they even have that serious of a situation going on with their body until they lose a lower limb, such as a toe.
Right.
And you know, and we've got type 2 diabetes on my husband's side of the family, and so that's something that you're well aware of. And my mom back in the day, of course she's passed, but she was a heavy smoker, and so the legs swell, you lose circulation. It's one of the worst things for you is smoking cigarettes. So I'm a pretty hardcore advocate to just tell people to stop.
You can tell you had the passion in it too.
You have to. You have to. These are all preventable. They really are preventable.
Yes.
If you're born with type 1 diabetes, it's different, but you're typically diagnosed with it. Typically, I say, diagnosed with it early in your life. But there have been many cases lately where you have people who have been adult onset type 1, or they were just finding out that they are type 1 diabetic, and sometimes it's too late by then. So let's talk about the education side of this.
Yeah, and just as a recap on what SAL, we like to call it that. It's Save a Leg, Save a Life. And if anyone wants to go and learn more, they can also go to the website, the SALSAL.org, and they'll find out a little bit more information. But their key mission is to educate the public and healthcare professionals as well, because there's a lot of healthcare professionals that may not have touched into this facet of wound care, or this facet of care that way, about the evidence-based measures to prevent or delay non-traumatic amputations. Next, they like to advocate on behalf of amputees and populations that are at increased risk for having PAD or amputations. And then the communication, just like right now with us doing this community event and other community events across the U.S., is to increase the communication and make sure that the healthcare professionals in each area or each community, they're able to treat these amputations. We like to help go in there and diagnose and do the screenings from head to toe, even eye screenings. And if they're able to see this, then the people at risk for amputation, they'll get to facilitate treatment early and expedite it and have the appropriate referrals. And we're hoping to drive in different healthcare organizations even more. I have every day, I'm even having a lot of home health people that want to come and be there. They want to be part of it. They want their patients there, or they want to go and learn a little bit more, because we will have education beginning at 8:30 in the morning. We'll go to 2 p.m. that afternoon. And
so will Dr. Bell, is he local? I mean, is he here in Texas?
No, he's actually out of Florida, and that is the base of where Save a Leg, Save a Life Foundation resides.
Okay.
And 15 years ago, Dr. Bell began this, even as he was in practice daily, and he was able to save limbs by doing a little bit more
Right.
little bit more investigation. And like I said, a lot of times it's sort of unnoticed and it's not detected. So it's so important to get these screenings, and we're hoping that we can get as many people as possible there. I'm calling all physicians, I'm calling all home health people, everybody that is in healthcare that could do anything to help prevent any kind of amputations or problems with diabetic foot ulcers, anything that would help, prevent and start healing processes and help these people.
So this is open to the public and it's free. Is that right?
It is free, and we are taking sponsors still, and there are still some booths available. But anybody that wants to go, you can actually Google. I can send a link. We'll put a link later here, so they can go in and sign up a couple of different ways. One is on Eventbrite, but the other one is direct from the Save a Life
Website.
yeah,
Right. So if
the
you,
solsol.org.
yep.
You can go there. It says community screening event. It gives you an opportunity to put your information in and sign up right there too. And that is something that we're trying to encourage everyone to do that has any kind of history in their family of PAD or any kind of heart disease, any kind of diabetes issues, any kind of even high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things like that those are risk factors. Also, if you smoked in the past but you quit, you're still at risk. You should probably come. You would be a candidate, and you get the screening, but you also get to learn from some of the top professionals or the best experts that I've ever found. Will be available there to they've dedicated their time to this.
So if you go to the salsal.org, at the
Yes.
top of the page, there's a tab, Dallas 2023 screening event. It's December 3rd at the University of Texas Arlington location. The components are: there's patient screenings and referrals to local providers, patient and family education on prevention measures, industry and local sponsors provide services and support. So you're going to have lots of vendors who can help in the different ways, including compression socks and that type of stuff. I would assume provider roundtable discussions of best practices, and how to keep your wounds clean, how to take care of your legs, how to take care of your diabetes, and ways to lower. I mean, ultimately, it's about ways to lower the amputation rates. There's live case studies as well that you can learn about. There's engaging local nursing students that will also be there and on hand to talk to, data collection and tracking of improved outcomes. And that's really important. I was going to ask you about some of those numbers if you have them. And then here's the screenings that you'll have available. And remember, this is for free. So if you
All
have
for
any of these
free, all for
issues,
free.
I mean, it's definitely go. They'll do vital signs, including oxygen level and blood pressure, ankle brachial index test called or ABI, glucose screening, foot inspection, gait analysis, balance testing and fall risk assessment, infrared imaging device screenings, and more. They're going to follow up by a consultation review once their physician volunteers go through the testing with you. So again, the screening event details are Sunday, December 3rd at University of Texas Arlington.
Yeah, it's in the Maverick Activity Center on the second floor.
Thank you for that, because that was on the other sheet, and I was like, I know there's a specific building to this.
It's 500 West Netterman in Arlington. So there, and that'll be there too. They'll be able to see that. I'll give you some more information that we can include too, so we can get them there.
So the screenings will be between 8:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. 9 a.m. Dr. Bell, the founder, he'll speak a welcome to everybody. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's continuing education sessions on prevention topics. So that's absolutely fantastic as well. And who should attend? Just reminding you: diabetics, smokers, ex-smokers, anyone over 50, wound care clinicians, and other healthcare providers. Do you have, and I don't want to throw you I don't want to throw you under the bus in case you don't have these numbers with you, but that's kind of what I was, since he started this, what's the outcome? What's the outcome been? How many people has he been able to prevent from having to have an amputation?
I don't have the direct numbers, but I can tell you that we have kept people from going blind from having the vision screenings. We have saved and some of the case studies that he'll be presenting, it will show actually what he did when he diagnosed like even other physicians that didn't even know they had it. So no one is immune to getting this. It's something that it should be checked out, especially if you are over 50, if you have any type of condition like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And then, of course, if you do have diabetes, you definitely want to be there. And if you've been a smoker in the past or you're smoking now, and if you are smoking now, I suggest that
Quit.
Yes.
stop, please stop.
Quit.
Because that's something that that'd be something good to do for yourself.
Good.
Oof.
Quit smoking.
Quit smoking.
I quit almost 24 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I'm like a raging advocate against it now, and I can't stand to be around it. It's like I still know people who have quit, probably close to the amount of time that I quit, and they're like, "Oh, that still smells good. I'm really tempted to smoke one." And I'm like, "Get away from I can't be around it at all." And it's you don't know what you're missing until because that's the thought process when you're a smoker. I'm going to miss this so bad. Well, I could tell you that once it's completely out of your system and the habitual part of it is over, you're not missing anything. You don't miss it.
You can smell again. You can taste things better
you can
again.
sing better.
Everything
Your
is so
vocal
much better.
cords.
You can
It's a
breathe
natural.
again.
It's a natural allergen. Like people don't. The average smoker doesn't even understand that. It's a natural allergen. You are allergic to cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
And so typically smokers have more sinus issues. Forget about the bronchial stuff. I mean, that's a given, but this is different, you just gotta
and your clothes don't smell like it.
Oof.
But as far as what happens to you, this is a little large for me.
Yeah, it happens.
But what happens to your body, while you're smoking, it's crazy.
That's a friend of mine who was like, "That's you, former smoker." Yes, I know.
But
over
you
50,
stopped.
you should go get yourself checked. That's what he was telling me.
We-
Thanks so much. Appreciate that.
You
That was a
should,
good message.
and I think a lot of people should get on board. And if you have family members, bring them in by all means, because we're trying to get a lot of people in there that normally are not getting, have not been diagnosed, or they're not going to the doctor. They could go there for that screening.
Do you mean men?
Probably.
We're going to go a larger percentage of that is men because they're stubborn about going to some of them.
Well, but I mean,
not all.
You don't need health insurance to go do this event and
it's
find all
free.
this stuff out because it's free.
Right.
So
and
it doesn't matter.
And on top of that, there's additional
treatment might not be free.
Well, there's additional programs out there actually for people who do not have insurance to help take care of your diabetic needs and additional things. Now, amputations, I mean, it's a different type of thing. My brother is actually an amputee. However, it's not due to diabetes. He was in a motorcycle accident, and so he lost one of his legs from just below the knee down. And so I can tell you the struggles that come with that, no matter how you end up an amputee of a lower extremity, is it can be terrifying. It's daunting. It's outrageously expensive. And your prosthetics are extremely expensive, especially if you don't have insurance.
Yeah,
and it's a lifelong need. It's a
Yes.
lifelong need, and you have to be able to afford your first prosthetic and then replacements because they do break. Ask me how I know, because I've witnessed all this with my brother. However, he had a different financial situation because it was an accident. But again, it's just really a no-brainer. Anytime you have a community event going on that's free, that helps take care of your health, go do it. So again, you go to the salsal.org, and it's December 3rd, 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can register there, or actually you don't even have to pre-register, do you?
You can come,
Yeah,
you can just
you just
walk
show up.
in and we can register you at the door. If you pre-register, you'll be able to get other information, maybe ahead of time, and you can go in there and learn more quicker.
So by the way, if you do go to the website, if this is not something you feel like is a need for you, but you want to help in some way, when you go to the website, you can click the Get Involved, and there's volunteer tabs. You can sponsor an event. You can be a part of the White Sock campaign. There's memberships in this organization, and of course, you can always simply donate, and every dollar counts. And Teresa, I appreciate you coming today,
Thank
and
you.
and the passion that you have for this organization and for what Dr. Bell is doing is, you could hear it when you first called me and through the emails that you've been sending me, that this really means a lot to you, and that's the sign of a really wonderful healthcare giver, caregiver, because that's what you are, and it shows. So, all right, I know we're talking diabetes somewhat and good health, but we'd be amiss if I didn't ask you, what's your favorite? And there's some days that we have to count everything. You still take your blood, check your blood sugar on Thanksgiving, 3 times a day at least. But typically when I was working for AccuCheck, we would say before and after each meal, until you really know, especially if you're a severe type 1 diabetic. So check your glucose levels. Super, super simple. What's your favorite side dish or just favorite dish for Thanksgiving?
I would have to say my mother's iron skillet chocolate pie.
Ooh.
Oh,
I haven't
iron
heard
skillet
that.
chocolate pie?
Yes.
Is it a graham cracker crust?
No, you make a regular pie crust, and that's homemade too. And then
It's the only way to do it.
and it's wonderful. It's like a very nice chemistry experiment. When you make this, you're thinking, "Oh, this looks gross. What is it going to be?" And then it turns into the most beautiful fudgy
Chocolate pie?
Yes.
Oh,
And it's
gosh.
already ready to go once you
Homemade whipped
take it out
cream?
of there, and you can eat it warm, or you can chill it and then put some whipped cream on it. But or make a meringue, which my
Yeah.
mother would do.
She would do a meringue on the chocolate pie.
Mhm.
Now, I love meringue pie, but on chocolate pie, I like homemade whipped cream. I can't help it. I
Yeah.
literally could eat just like chocolate with homemade
my
whipped cream,
God.
like chocolate, like just bake
Yeah.
a chocolate cake and eat it with chocolate cake.
Can I
Thank-
just have the pie filling?
Right.
Ugh.
Thank you again, Teresa, for joining us.
Thank you.
Stick with us, guys. We'll be back to talk about the elections and a little bit of the stuffing cornbread war
Right.
when we get back from this break.
Yeah. December.
December 3rd.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom
on-
did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night every Saturday night.
Look,
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how
I-
you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I just
Mom.
wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
Oh,
I
my
would rather
God.
have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my
Love you.
girl. I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
Bye. I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JOCO Community Radio.
Holy crap. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
JOCO Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Good morning and welcome back to the second half of JOCO Vibes with Tiffany Carlen.
Oh my God, you're so animated. Can you just
Me Red.
just drive me crazy?
And now Jason Bagley is joining us. JOCO Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JOCOCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims. Making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And
Get them in your corner before the next storm hits, by the way.
Hail as in
He's not unmuted.
Sorry, I got excited.
Thank you. Hail can be misinterpreted H-A-I-L.
Yeah, hail.
Because in
Rhymes
Texas,
with pale.
that's two words.
Rhymes with pale. Rhymes
Gale.
with male.
Rhymes with
Tail.
hail.
There's
There's hail, and then there's hail.
This is how I trained Nona on how to say
Hail.
Hail, not hell. Hell is H-E-L-L. Rhymes with bell.
Not in Texas.
Right, I know that. But yeah, so I had to say, Nona, you sound like you're saying hell. Tex hail. Hail. That's how she would say, hey, that's how she says hail. She's not here.
So
Nona.
then just be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. That's at the Tiffy.
TIFFIE.com,
go.
because some people will spell it with a Y and it's not.
But
Yeah.
now, who to hoe?
Our favorite doctor, Dr. Canho at Advanced Joints and Spine
Canho.
Center in Crowley, Texas. He can take care of all of your joint needs, your chiropractic. He has pain relief, faster healing, and freedom from pain. He's got a team that you can rely on with offering positive physiological effects you can feel, comprehensive holistic and wellness care programs, and so much more. Check him out at drhoclinic.com. That's drhoclinic.com, and book your appointment right there on his website. I don't know what you're laughing at, but it must be good. Okay. All right. Everybody calm down now. You know who loves Dr. Ho? Our very
Angela
own Angela
Roca.
Roca from Vet for Vets. And are you struggling with the fact that his name is Ho? It's
No.
Dr. Can Ho.
No,
That is
it-
really his name, people. That
it
is
doesn't surprise me at all.
that is the doctor's name. There's nothing I can do about that.
I'm not gonna make it.
All right, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make
Oh my
it. You know what? We're gonna
my daughter apparently she was like, I said something. She was like, "Your voice. Why are you saying it like that?" And I was like, "I don't know. That's how I read the commercial on the radio." And she's like, "You're the one that does the commercial on the radio?" And I was like, "Yeah, when I get to." And she was like, "I make fun of that voice every time." I'm like,
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, my
That's-
child.
that's your
me.
mother.
It's called my commercial voice.
That's your. That's. I'm not sure it's your commercial voice. I really don't know where to put that, but it is Tuesday, and we're a little later than usual. So thanks for tuning in. If you are out there listening in the world, and as you know, on Tuesdays we do our focus word of the week, which is how one word a week will transform your life. It's a book by Claire Cherry Reeves, and you can get that at dayspring.com. You can also find it on Amazon. I'm certain you can find it on Amazon. This week's word is restoration.
Ooh.
Jerusalem will be rebuilt on its ruins, the palace reconstructed as before. Jeremiah 30:18.
Good timing.
Hello,
Good
timing, right? Total timing. So the focus tip of the week is, do you feel broken today? Do you feel confident that God will restore your current circumstance and make something beautiful out of your ashes? This week, every time you start to think that nothing good will come from it, say the word restoration and know that He never breaks His promises.
Restoration.
We just have to hold on and watch.
So that's a great word because
Right?
when I first got divorced, I was in a life group with this woman, Sharon Varigan, and she saw this need. And she saw how much stuff I was going through and didn't know what to do, whatever. And then there was another lady, and then there was a third lady. And she saw this vision. She's like, you women need help. Like you're going through this thing. So she created this whole ministry, and it's called BRA. Believing restoration is attainable.
Love it.
Yeah.
Can I read a little bit more on this one? Just because I just feel this word was just so
it's a great word for me.
It really,
I
and
resonate with that
it's
word
just
a lot.
so appropriate right now. And so it starts out by saying, did we read that verse correctly? Jerusalem will be rebuilt on its ruins. This scripture refers to when Jerusalem had been destroyed by the Romans and was in desolate condition. The chaos and struggle that had taken place in this land was undeniable. And yet God says this was exactly where He wanted to rebuild, upon the rubble. Isn't that exactly what God does with us? We have these places of brokenness in our lives, and we desperately want to run from them, cover them, and pretend they never existed. The memories of what was still ring in our minds, and it feels too hard to stay in this place, and yet God calls us to, back here. As we look at ground zero, we wonder how, and that ground zero can be whatever rubble you've got going on in your life. It's a lot of things in the Bible are really what happened, but there's so many metaphorical and spiritual contexts to them. Yeah, that God's trying to show you, hey, if I can rebuild Jerusalem, you can rebuild your own, shit show.
Perfectly worded.
Yes.
Well, so, and that's God's specialty, to rebuild stuff and put the broken pieces back together. So it's usually an exact space. It is usually in the exact spaces we label ruined, where He rewrites and stamps restored. The fullness of His redemption is most evident when the shattering is most apparent, like in a relationship or friendship we've written off, the marriage we desperately want to walk away from, the health issues that are stealing our energy, the addiction that has claimed so much of our time, the childhood we refuse to let go of but hate to remember, the battle we fight to be joyful on a daily basis, the failure, the hurt, the pain, whatever it is.
So my mom came to me last week.
This is good stuff.
And she said, what was so good about her Bible study she went to, she's in a widow's Bible study. And she said, whenever you're going through something, like you've been going down this path or whatever, and it's not necessarily where you think you ought to be or where God wants you or whatever, He doesn't take you whenever you finally call upon the name of the Lord, right? And He rescues you. And He says He puts your feet on, on solid ground, right? He doesn't take you back to the beginning, so you have to do it all over again. He puts you right standing where you're at, and you go forward from there. And I was like, man, that was a good word. Because He restores you. He puts you back in right standing. He puts you back together, but you don't have to start over.
Do you know?
You just move forward.
Ooh. So I had kind of a crappy day yesterday, and it didn't really need to remain crappy, but I let what happened in the morning affect me, and I held on to it instead of, working through it. And then I got up here to the office, and Jason was like,
Felt that.
I felt that. What's going on? Like, I could see your energy is not in a good place, right? And then I verbally threw up on him. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of felt better. I at least got it out. But I was kind of thinking, I really need to go to like a smash room. That's how I felt, which is also funny because early in the morning, and I mean early in the morning before the moment that was pivotal. Thank you. Pivotal, where it changed my attitude, affected my attitude negatively, right? I had posted a
inspirational quote.
No, I had posted a meme. I posted a meme from that 70s show, and it's the mom having a total mental breakdown.
She breaks the remote.
She stomps on it. She's like, if you're gonna have a remote, did you fix it yet? It's supposed to work. And she throws it, and she like loses her shit completely. And then she says it, I'm losing my mind. And then she has this like her psychotic laugh at the end, which I can't help but laugh every time I watch that, right?
It's so good.
And so, I hadn't quite fully changed my attitude this morning yet. And I just had a pivotal moment sitting at this table because I sent a text and I made an apology for having a shitty attitude. And then said I was, I'm struggling with stuff, right? And so that completely restored my
Your
attitude.
mindset.
It did completely. And so I want to say, if you're holding on to something, from last night or from this morning or from 2 days ago, and you're angry with someone that you love, or you're disappointed or whatever, and even though there wasn't particularly anything that was my fault, except my attitude.
Right.
And I apologize for it, and it completely just restored and changed me.
Right.
Hopefully it affected, my husband, who I apologize to for my shitty attitude. So I mean, seriously, I mean, we just sit in that, and it's stupid. And so,
I had this moment a couple days ago. I ran into somebody that we were really close, and then we had a falling out, whatever. And like, I was right, but I didn't handle it right, And so like, she came back to me. She's like, you were so right. And, can we just start over? And I was like, you bet. I said, that was really great. Thank you for telling me I was right. Cause I knew I was right. I was not gracious about it at the time. And I didn't handle it very well. And I was like, you're coming back. I'm coming back. If we don't believe people can change, what's the whole point in this thing anyway?
Sometimes it's not even that a person needs to change. It's
well,
just
in my situation, it was because I need to handle things better.
Okay. Well, but that's what I'm saying though. It's not what I meant to say was, it's not necessarily we're waiting for someone else to change. Sometimes we need to just change our outlook, our attitude, or how we are.
It's not about the other person, it's about ourselves.
Jason's very quiet.
He's very quiet. Like, this is not normal. You okay there, man?
I'm good.
Why? You
just trying to give you all a chance to talk, man. And I get in here sometimes, I start just rattling out. Thought I'd give you a little chance to hang. I mean, talk.
I don't know if you had this look on your face, like I'm really trying to absorb what's going on here. It's not a shocked look on your face. It's
not
just
anymore.
Listen, I think y'all are doing good things. You were talking about last night. You came in. We carry things around on us, and whether it's good or bad, we can literally change the room by how we walk into it. And I think, and it was late. I don't know what time you got here because I was working late.
I got here, I don't know, about 4:15 because I worked from home. I had doctor's appointments, and I had shows to deal with, and I was painting, and
I came out from behind my little corner office. I just kind of hide back there to work, and I could just feel it. I mean, I don't even know if I saw you necessarily as much as I just felt.
You felt my energy. You literally said that. You're like, what's going on with you? I feel your energy.
Yeah. And you're easier to read than most because you're very open about your feelings to a great degree.
We're transparent.
Yeah, and most people are. They
Few
don't
F-
even realize it.
Few F-bombs.
Well, I don't know that I even heard you curse, which is unusual in and of itself.
He
I
heard
think
me.
I did a
he
little bit
heard
when I
me
was
cursing.
painting.
Was it?
When I was painting and we were talking, I think
Okay.
I
He
let a
heard me
few out.
cursing that
I don't know.
yesterday morning.
I'm getting better at filtering out y'all's abbreviations for real words.
Abbreviations for I like it.
So
because the F word does stand for something. I know we talked about this before. It was like
for unlawful carnal knowledge.
But there's also one that's about that's shit.
Right.
Yeah,
We
ship
did
high
that.
in transit.
Yeah, that's it. And so these are real words.
Yeah.
Like bar.
I don't know how real those sayings are,
Yeah.
but that's
That's what we say. Anyway.
Do you know what bar came from?
bar.
Do you remember
I
it?
knew this
No.
one, but I don't remember.
I knew
right
this
now.
too. Alcohol. I don't know. Somebody knows it. Type it in there. I just saw it again.
Well,
the other day.
I came on because it's
election day.
It's election day, and I was asked to talk about the.
I did because I don't understand most of this stuff.
Okay, so I don't have them in front of me, but I know Prop
I'm actually
1
pulling 'em
is farming. So Prop 1 for your voters out there, if you haven't voted, you can look up your voter polling location. Just go to if you go just type into your Google voter location.
You could voter location, or you can go if you're in Johnson County, johnsoncountytx.org, and go to and click through to the elections office. We're going to post a link so that you can get to that, and it will show you all the polling
So
places.
mine's at First Baptist today.
Now that's Johnson County. If you're in Burleson, remember you have Johnson County. You've got Johnson County and Tarrant County,
Right?
Which is typically in Crowley.
I don't know. I don't know. They're different polling locations based on your address. So make sure it's based off of your address that you vote from. But nonetheless, so Prop 1, these are constitutional amendments, guys. These aren't just, I think this is a great idea. This is literally going to change the Texas Constitution. So these are very serious, and they're not something to be trifled with when you're voting for or against. But the first one is going to be for farming, and really what this is in support of, and I can't imagine anybody but municipalities having a problem with this, which is if you're a farmer and you're near an urban area and you want to continue to farm your land, you should be able to do so.
Right.
That's what that's saying. It's saying, listen, municipalities cannot come in and say you can't do that anymore. And I think that's I can't imagine why a municipality would do it, but hey, there are people out there that feel like they can do that.
Well, typically it's typically that type of stuff happens when they're looking to take your land at some point.
Sure.
Eminent domain, that type of stuff.
Yeah, because it becomes too expensive for people to maintain that land at some degree if they can no longer make it an agricultural tax provision. So what's the second one? I'm trying to remember.
The Constitution Amendment authorizing a local option exemption from ad valorem taxation by a county or municipality of all or part of an appraised value of real estate used to operate child care facility.
So this is basically trying to give, and it's not saying everyone that owns a child care facility is going to get that. What it's saying is that municipalities and counties can, if they so choose to do so, put in place a tax abatement of sorts, an ad valorem tax abatement for those that would open child care facilities. My wife works in a child care facility, and she asked me, what does that mean for people who work there? I said, not a darn thing.
Right.
And that's what you have to remember. Just because they're giving them a tax break does not mean that that's going to trickle down to them or to the
people that are putting their kids in there. Yeah.
So, I mean, is it good? Is it something that could be helpful? Sure. And if you're for that, then just remember there's no guarantee that that's going to make prices go down. It may just mean the people who own these facilities
get a break.
And that's not a bad thing.
Right.
If you need childcare facilities in your area.
Right.
And everybody needs them.
Yep. So State of Texas Prop 3, the constitutional amendment prohibiting the imposition of an individual wealth or net worth tax, including a tax on the difference between the assets and liabilities of an individual or family.
Okay, guys. So this is talking about, do we want to allow the state to put in a wealth tax?
Right.
Okay. So this is kind of confusing because I was talking to my, Joyce about this. If you say no, then you're saying, yes, I want the state to be able to do that when they want to.
Right.
If you vote yes, you're saying, no, I don't want the state to be able to implement a wealth tax. So yes, if you don't want them to do it, and no, if you do want them to be able to do it. So that's a little confusing. Make sure you look at Prop 3 real close.
Right. And it's okay to ask someone for help. There are websites, by the way, on there are some websites, and I'm trying to get the one that I want, that you can go to that actually help break the proposition
Yeah, there's
down.
Texas legislative session, I think on that I was looking at yesterday, to kind of go through that with Joyce, to make sure she understood everything and give me a little better understanding, because there was a couple in there, and we'll get to them hopefully.
Well, and
when
that's
I have time, but
I'm glad you said what you said about Prop 3, because that can be very confusing
Yes.
for people when you're talking about prohibiting and
basically we're saying we don't want the state to put another tax on us.
right. All right. So Prop 4, Texas State Prop 4, and we got to kind of blew through these. Yeah. The constitutional amendment to authorize the legislature to establish a temporary limit on the maximum appraised value of real property other than a residence homestead for the. Oh, I got the sample ballot open. Can you read that more?
I'll break this down really quick,
break it
guys.
down.
What
Prop
this is
4,
saying,
Prop 4.
Prop 4 is a pretty
There
good
we
one
go.
for homeowners, and it's allowing them to extend for a limited time. They're not saying for a permanent basis, but for a limited time, to go from $40,000 on your homestead exemption to $100,000 for your homestead exemption. But this is only coming off of the ISD, so the money that would be coming in is going to be broken away from the ISDs. That's my only thing about it, is they didn't try to figure out a way to cut costs. They just said, hey, ISDs, you're not going to get as much money as you thought you were.
Can I read a little bit more of this so people understand a little bit more? So now that I have it bigger and I can see through this, to increase the amount of exemption from ad valorem taxation by an ISD applicable to residence homesteads from 40,000 to 100,000, to adjust the amount of the limitation on ISD ad valorem taxes imposed on the residence homesteads of the elderly or disabled to reflect increases in certain exemption amounts, to accept certain. It's so interesting that you have you've got different levels to this prop,
Right.
which to me is dangerous in the first
Sure.
place. To accept certain appropriations to pay for an ad valorem tax relief from the constitutional limitation on the rate. Read that again. Okay, to reflect increases in the exemption amounts, to accept certain appropriations to pay for the ad valorem tax relief from the constitutional limitation on the rate of growth of appropriations, and to authorize the legislature to provide for a 4-year term of office for a member of the board of directors of certain appraisal districts.
Right.
In
other words, it's temporary,
right,
and it's not going to last forever. It probably won't
And
last
it's not
very
for
long.
everybody.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So then number 5 is, do you want to give the universities more money?
No, I mean,
I'm
Number
with you.
6, the constitutional amendment creating the Texas Water Fund to assist in financing water projects in the
okay.
state.
The problem is where's the money coming from? It's not a general fund item, which means
Right.
they're going to create a new way to spend your money.
Mhm.
And so, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Texas Board of Realtors is in support of this and the next one as well, for both that and the energy. My question for the energy is, what kind of energy are they going to be spending money on? Because that's a major problem, and it's also going to be privatization, which can be a problem in and of itself.
And look, we already pay for our water.
Right.
Yeah.
And we already have money
already pay
coming
for our
in.
water.
And the question is why aren't they being able to do what they need to do with the
Right,
money they're getting
right.
now?
And that's their government not managing their money properly. Shocker.
And then there's the fund for high speed broadband access. So there's
Yeah. So that's the other one. So there's water, electric, and broadband. And of those 3, the only one that I really think is probably necessary is broadband for those people who don't have it in rural areas. But again, we don't know that Starlink won't get so good at what they're doing that we won't even need lines.
Do you
at
know
some
what's
point.
so interesting? There's already communities in Dallas, Texas, in Dallas, okay,
that
and
already
in
have
other
free
areas.
Wi-Fi
Dallas is already doing this
with
They're-
city
that
taxes.
funds,
They're
right? City
already doing it with
patches.
city
They're
taxes. But there's, what are you doing? Like, out in the middle of nowhere, like there's not a city that's
Yeah.
big enough to do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
Well, United Co-op there in Johnson County, and they switch out to, I think, Parker and Hood and Grayson County.
Yeah.
So they've implemented this, and it's been very helpful to me. I live out in the county, and comparatively, it's great. So
I have it. We're on the co-op. I'm out
Yeah.
there too. You're on the co-op. You're out there too. And thank God,
Super
because
helpful.
all of the other internet we had out there
terrible.
was
Oh
absolutely
man,
terrible.
my dad paid $20,000 to have fiber optics run to our office. That was supposed to be only ours. It was a committed line. I mean, it was
But let's
terrible.
be
It
real
was
though, really quick.
$400 a month. It was terrible too. It was terrible.
There wasn't.
But that was all we could get.
It's a private co-op, and most of these rural places are on co-ops as well. Okay,
Right.
So glad
and
we got
so
United now.
we didn't pay. We're nobody
being paid
funded.
for.
Nobody funded this to happen. We pay
Right.
for the service.
Agreed.
So I'm not saying,
But it is part of our infrastructure, and it makes Texas better. So the question is, those things, do they make them better? That's your choice.
right. Okay. So Prop 8, the constitutional amendment creating the broadband infrastructure. Sorry, you said 8 already.
Yeah, Prop
I'm
9.
so sorry. Let me scroll down to number 9. And I'm
Provide cost of
Thank you.
living adjustment.
Okay, this is
to
for
certain
retired
annual
teachers.
Retired.
They haven't had a
teacher
cost of
retirement
living adjustment in 20 years.
for
so-
teachers that are already retired.
For people that are already retired, my only concern about this is where's the money coming from, and once we make a constitutional amendment for a cost of living adjustment, is that going to start happening every time there's a cost of living adjustment?
Is that going?
Are we gonna,
for
like, apply
retired
that to
people?
Yes.
Your
We're gonna-
retirement fund to me is your retirement
Yeah.
fund. We should not be taxed on that and paying for other people's retirement. That already happens to us with our with our people who've worked for the post office. They make more than what they made when they were in service.
Well, what it really comes down to is a poorly managed retirement fund by the Teachers Association and those people. And at the end of the day, we can't keep doing this. We have to fix it. And I don't know that this is a fix.
This
Now,
isn't a fix. This is asking us
we need,
to pay
we need
for
to help
it.
our retired teachers by
And-
doing a better job of.
Hey,
of
really
managing
quick.
And the
it.
next one is, do we want to give the medical people more money, like the supply chain, more money, more taxes?
No.
I mean, we pay them a lot of money anyway just to get our shit.
It is
I mean-
the
They make a lot of money. off
Yeah,
of
they
this.
make
They
a
make
lot of money off us.
billions
Why do we
of
need
dollars.
to give them any more tax
Right.
money?
What's
Right.
the next one?
El Paso.
Okay, so El Paso, I don't even know why it's on
50
there. Why we have
seconds.
to worry about it. Corpus Christi. This is the one that's after that.
Galveston County.
Yeah, so Galveston County, everybody wants it, including the current person who is in that position. Said, "Hey, we don't want this position anymore. We need to be able to take it away."
Mandatory age for judges.
Oh, so make governors smaller? Yeah, that's good. And why do people who are judges, being 75 years old, why do you need to keep working for another 4 years?
please. Thank you.
I mean, we have
Constitutional-
octogenarian
right.
in the freaking White House that
Right.
can't tie his own shoe.
Not even
Provide-
octogenarians.
okay, so
we have
the
people
last
who are almost
one,
100 years
14,
old in
providing the
Congress.
creation for Centennial Parks Conservation Fund and these
Let's
for
not
creation
spend
of
any more
improved
money.
state parks.
That's
Right.
my opinion.
We did it.
They
We did
raised
it.
their own
Ow!
money. Get out. Most
It's
important.
a good
The
morning.
most
Go
important.
vote.
Listen, guys. The most important thing: go to your election offices on your county website. Find out where to go vote, and get out there and vote. This is the most important thing you can do. Hey, be kind and God bless.
See you Wild Wednesday.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godly, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it